This is chapter 14, and so chapter 13 was the third discourse of Matthew. There are 5 total. Chapter 14 starts off pretty somberly, actually, and one of my favorite people from the Bible, the whole Bible, John the Baptist. And so I'll read chapter 14. At that time, Herod the Tetrarch, it's just starting at verse 1. At that time, Herod the Tetrarch heard about the fame of Jesus, and he said to his servants, "This is John the Baptist. He's been raised from the dead. That is why these miraculous powers are at work in him." For Herod had seized John and bound him and put him in prison for the sake of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, because John had been saying to him, "It is not lawful for you to have her." And though he wanted to put him to death, he feared the people because they held him to be a prophet. So this is an interesting thing. John the Baptist, he was relentless in upholding the law and the fact that Herod took a wife that he should not have, right? Herodias, his brother Philip's wife. So it's not lawful for you to have her. And so it says that Herod wanted to put him to death, but he wouldn't because of the crowds. So he feared the people because they held him to be a prophet. These same crowds, John the Baptist's ministry was massive. And when the Jewish author Josephus talks about this, he actually says John the Baptist, caused quite a disturbance with his ministry. I think that's downplayed a little bit, but Elijah was a pretty crazy dude. Elijah was powerful. There are a lot of verses about Elijah speaking truth to power. That's what got Elijah on the run in the Old Testament. So anyways, it's an interesting thing. I just want to point out that there were lots of people that held John the Baptist as a prophet and held Jesus as a prophet. And those people, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the religious leaders, chief priests, would have been terrified of these massive crowds of people if they killed John the Baptist or Jesus. It was that big, right? There is an element of fear even among the magistrates. Herod was a king. When his birthday came, the daughter of Herodias danced before the company and pleased Herod, so that he promised with an oath to give her whatever she might ask. Prompted by her mother, she said, "Give me the head of John the Baptist here on a platter." And the king was sorry. It doesn't say why he's sorry there. Is he sorry because he's still scared of the crowds? Is it sorry because, why? So anyways, he is sorry, but because of his oaths and his guest, he commanded it to be given. He sent and had John beheaded in the prison, and his head was brought on a platter and given to the girl, and she brought it to her mother. And his disciples came and took the body and buried it, and they went and told Jesus. So he's beheaded. Now when Jesus heard this, right, John the Baptist and Jesus are close. Their ministries would have overlapped. John the Baptist baptized Jesus. They were family. So when Jesus heard this, he withdrew from there in a boat to a desolate place by himself. And I always wonder, did Jesus know that this was happening? Did Jesus know when it happened, when it would happen? I wonder if Jesus had, because he does show that he foreknows things. So I wonder if he knew. I just wonder, that is just an interesting thing I think about. But when the crowds heard it, they followed him on foot from the towns. When he went ashore, he saw a great crowd. He had compassion on them and healed their sick. Now when it was evening, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a desolate place, and the day is over. Send the crowds away to go into the villages and buy food for themselves." But Jesus said, "They need not go away. You give them something to eat." They said to him, "We have only 5 loaves here and 2 fish." He said, "Bring them here to me." Then he ordered the crowds to sit down on the grass, and taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and said a blessing. Then he broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the crowds. And they all ate and were satisfied. And they took up 12 baskets full of the broken pieces left over, and those who ate were about 5,000 men besides women and children. So I think what's interesting about this is oftentimes we see this as this huge power play miracle, and it is, right? It is a miracle. Jesus takes loaves and fish and he breaks them and he feeds thousands of people. And it's crazy. Like, it's just crazy how many people he's feeding here. But I think I've never heard it preached this way when I was growing up as a kid. They leave out the whole John the Baptist part. I don't remember them talking too much about beheadings in Sunday school. And so John the Baptist refuses to compromise, and we get two pictures here. One is the earthly authority, and one is the authority sent by God, Jesus. And so when we put them up side by side, it gives us a good picture here. So Jesus found out that his cousin died from beheading from a king who didn't like his message. So John the Baptist speaking truth to power. And where does it say that Herodias, who is it? Herodias' daughter. The daughter of Herodias danced before the company, right? So they're at this party. They're at a feast, a party. Herodias' daughter dances for Herod the Tetrarch. So there's one feast here. Herod's at a feast. He's throwing a feast. He's pleased by the daughter of a sexually immoral woman, right? So there's like all this debauchery going on. It's a picture of gluttony, of all kinds of stuff. And then it takes a more evil turn, a more wicked turn, when he says, whatever you want, ask for it because of your dancing. And she says, give me the head of John the Baptist. And so at this feast, the head of somebody who's a holy man trying to uphold the law of God, trying to uphold a semblance of purity, a semblance of lawfulness, is beheaded and served up on a platter. So it's at the head of John the Baptist, a prophet, Elijah. Meanwhile, Jesus withdraws, and the people follow him. So I don't know, like a lot of times today, if somebody passes away, you get like bereavement leave, you get all kinds of stuff. People take a break, they think it's about them, take time to process it. Jesus got a little bit of time to process this, and then people came and he started healing them again. Jesus goes right back and making it about other people, which I think is something else. But the world is going to tell you it's all about you and your feelings and your responses, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. And I think that oftentimes the best way to get through a traumatic experience is to make it about other people. So anyways, this idea is that he comes and he hosts a feast. Herod hosted a feast and Jesus hosts a feast. And in this feast, Herod provides the food and the entertainment and the head of a prophet. And Jesus provides nourishment and healing and food to thousands of people. And so I thought that was interesting side by side to look at the difference there. Because oftentimes in Sunday school, it's taught as just a miracle. But I think that there's a very intentional thing here where it's showing that if we look at the magistrates, if we look at the earthly authorities, if we look at people not ordained by God and what they're doing, that it's very clearly different than what God's authority and God wants for us and what God is offering us. And so this again is putting an image of the kingdom of heaven next to the image of the world as it is. So I think that's kind of an interesting take on that. And then so that's where I'll leave that one. But put down below what you thought about that take, if you've ever heard that described that way, or I hadn't until recently, but it's a fantastic image of this juxtaposition, this positioning of one worldly viewpoint against another viewpoint. So let me know what you thought about that. Like and subscribe to catch all these videos as they come out. That's all I have on this one. Again, John the Baptist, a fantastic character. If you get a chance to research him a little bit more, it's just fantastic. His ministry, how his ministry and Jesus' ministry basically, got a diving board, jumping off start because of John the Baptist ministry and the preparing the way, what that all means. It is just fantastic. But Also, I like that he was so gruff. That was just an awesome aspect. But anyways, that's all I have. Like and subscribe to catch these as they're coming out. I'll catch you in the next video, and I appreciate you being a part of this. Put some comments down below. Let's get a conversation started. It's way more fun to read the Bible with other people, like-minded people. So anyways, peace. I'll catch you soon.